Welcome to the Find Your Leadership Confidence podcast with Vicki Nedling. You are about to discover impactful lessons that help you grow as an individual, grow your confidence, and find the positive and good within you, so you powerfully and authentically become the best version of yourself. Be sure you visit our website at www.findyourleadershipconfidence.com. While you're there, subscribe to us via your favorite network. Now tune in, get ready, and enjoy the journey of emerging as a leader of exception in the 21st century.
Welcome, everyone, to the Find Your Leadership Confidence podcast. I'm your host, Vicki Nedling, coming to you from Roswell, Georgia. The goal of this podcast is to bring topics and guests that will empower you to become that confident leader and take your business and your life to the next level. Today, I'm going to be speaking with Tanya Brody, and let me tell you about Tanya. She is a full-stack direct response copywriter and email marketing consultant. She's worked with numerous marketing technology companies, information marketers, and other small to medium-sized businesses to improve their email marketing and overall messaging. Tanya works with business owners to help them write their regular nurture emails so they can grow their relationships with their subscribers, get more sales, create happy, loyal customers. So we're going to talk about this that everybody seems so confused and so lost unless they've got it right. And that is how to get more subscribers to join your email list. So please join me in welcoming my guest, Tanya Brody. So Tanya, how are you today?
I'm good. Thank you very much, Vicki.
That's awesome. We always start, as those that watch this know, with a couple easy questions. The first is, tell everybody, where do you live?
I live in Ventura, California.
Ah,
Sleepy little beach town out here.
Yes, I know Ventura. Whenever I worked for UPS, one of 2.5 years of my life, 4 years of my life, I spent going back and forth from Georgia to spend 2 and 3 weeks in California, different parts of the state, some in San Diego, but loved visiting all those beach towns. I'm a beach lover. So tell us about, we gave what you do right now, but I'd love to have you share kind of the journey. Were you always doing this, or what led you to have this now be your passion, your project, your current path on your life's journey?
So the funny thing is, I actually started out as a professional musician.
That's not funny. That's awesome.
Yeah, I actually was a touring musician, and for my band, we set up an email list because we were touring all over the country.
Yeah.
And I wanted to be able to let people know when we were going to be in town again.
Of course.
So basically, I started out with literally the sheet of paper that, had fill out your name, your email address, and your zip code. And most of the time it was legible.
I know, I was just going to say, how good was that? Because I know every time I do that, it's like, I don't know what they said here.
Yeah. And, and every once in a while I'd look at something before someone walked away and say, is that an A or an O? It's like, okay. So I'd write it out in my own handwriting so I could read it later. And I literally spent years transcribing people's bad handwriting into first just a big spreadsheet, and then into an email service provider as things progressed. I mean, it was early enough that people weren't really using email service providers.
Yeah.
It wasn't really a thing yet. That sort of happened as I grew my email list. And I grew that list to probably over 2,000 people just touring around the country.
Wow.
So, we would send, hey, we're going to be in your area emails. We'd send a monthly email saying, this is what's going on. This is where we'll be touring. These are the new songs we're working on. This is when the new album's coming out. Here's a link to the merch, all of that stuff, And then but that just kept us top of mind.
Yeah.
And that's what really showed me the power of email marketing is like, we literally would have people show up, like, if like we came to the area the same time every year, we would
Hmm.
have people show up at all of our gigs, and they would just follow us around their city
Oh, wow.
because they got the email. And so for
Hmm.
us, that was great because it meant that we could show the venue owners that, yeah, we actually have a following.
That's right. So
And
book us.
exactly. So we were literally playing everywhere from libraries to bars to Celtic festivals. So, I mean, I played Celtic music. I actually play the harp.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, and so I play the harp and the guitar and a couple of other instruments. And um, we we basically spent years traveling around the country doing this. And we did really well because we reminded people of our existence. Whereas if,
Hmm.
they'd been to the library and
Hmm.
they happened to walk into the library around that same time and we were there again, they might show up. But by
Right.
emailing them, showing up in their inbox and saying, hey, we're in town, they go, oh my gosh, we love them.
Yeah.
We need to set this date on our calendar and go see them again.
Being more
So
intentional, right?
exactly, to really make people aware of what we were doing. And
Hmm.
that really helped grow our band, and we were, fairly successful for a small Celtic band touring around the country. So once the band ended and I moved on to other things, I took up copywriting. And
Hmm.
I just, because I actually have a degree in creative writing and theater. So it's like, well, I may as well go use this part of my degree. Um, and I just fell in love with, you know, copywriting and the written word and using it to persuade people. And then
Hmm.
I went to work for a company called Lead Pages that their whole thing was lead generation, right?
Right.
The idea that you're creating an easy landing page for someone to come to, and you're delivering them something that will get them to opt into your email list.
Hmm.
And that just really took me off on my email marketing journey. It's like, okay, I love this. This is a fantastic thing. But what I discovered really quickly is there are a lot of businesses that really like to get people's email addresses and then they don't do anything with them.
Right.
They don't nurture them. They just let them sit there and think, oh, well, we're going to have a sale in 6 months, so we can just email these people.
Right. And then it feels like
Getting that,
spam.
yeah, that if you don't email people in that 6 months, no one's going to remember who you are.
Yeah.
It's like they've slept since then. They've had a life since then. They have probably solved the problem that
Mm.
they had come to you for anyway. So you need to nurture those people
Hmm.
until you are actually ready to do whatever it is you're going to do. You need to remind them why they joined your list, the problem that they've got, and why your upcoming or current product or service is going to be the thing that will help them.
Right.
So that sort of became the hill that I will die on, if you will, is that you can't just get someone onto an email list. You actually have to continue to build that relationship to actually make them a customer.
Right.
Because, I mean, yes, there are times that you walk into a shop and you're like, oh my gosh, that's the perfect thing. That's exactly what I'm looking for. But most of the time, most of us walk in, we go, oh, that's interesting.
Hmm.
And then we walk out. And if we see the thing somewhere else for a better price, maybe we buy it there. Or maybe we come back in 3 weeks and go, yeah, I actually do want that thing. Most people don't make a snap decision. So by
Correct.
not dealing with the people who don't make the snap decision, you're leaving a lot of money on the table.
Yeah. I know when I was just going through business school and I worked a second job to pay for that at a clothing store. And whenever it was in a mall, and
Mhm.
when I had a break, I just roamed the mall looking at, well, different clothes or shoes or whatever I might need or at some point in my life. and I would recall where it was or whatnot, but I wouldn't be buying anything generally at that time because like I was working to pay for school, not for growing my wardrobe. But I would just constantly say, no, I'm just looking. No, I'm just looking. No, I'm just looking. But I did go back oftentimes to those different places and buy again. Maybe not in a month, maybe a couple months, and hopefully the thing was still there. But people don't buy on impulse, except in those right now as another job I do to get a discount on clothes for my speaking career. I work at Burlington, which has discount designer things. And, that inventory goes really fast. And so I tend to, when I walk around during my break, then I look at things and things that I know that are going to go fast, then I'll put aside to pay for the next day or whatnot. But that's the only impulse shopping that I do. But a lot of stores, Target, all of these stores have these rows before as you get to the checkout that are for all of us that are impulse buying. But those generally aren't things that are super expensive.
Yeah.
If you're
Those are
buying
the dollar item to make sure you're putting something in your basket or your cart so that you'll check out with something.
right.
Whether it's that toy that your kid picked up because it's down low and they can grab it, or that weird little thing that you're like, oh yeah, I do need one of those. It's also why they have the candy bars and the batteries, all, it's like, that's very, very intentional. But, most of us walk into somewhere like Target with an intention, right?
And we
So,
forget sometimes why we went in there.
I guess we do. But the point is that Target has an email list.
Yeah.
Target emails me regularly saying, hey, this is on sale this week. And it's, and they'll text you if they'll let them. It's like they're doing everything they can to get you back into their store. They're building that relationship.
Yeah.
They're reminding me we're the friendly place that, you come into because we have all the stuff that you need.
Right.
And it's all right here. And if you can't find it, we can ship it to you. Right. So I actually grew up in Minneapolis. So I have a fondness for Target because
there you go.
Store, right?
We used to call it a Target here.
The Target boutique. Yes.
But to me, that impulse buying is a lead magnet.
Exactly.
There's no cost generally. It's sometimes, even for some workshop summits, things like that, they'll say, the ticket is $1.
Yeah.
So you get their email information, and then, then it will give you the option to upgrade for VIP or whatnot. But still, it's low cost. It feels easy enough to do, no commitment.
Right.
But it does get you that ability then to be able to nurture them to a higher sale.
Exactly. And, the whole point is you're not making a single sale. You're building a relationship because you want this person to buy from you regularly. You may have one product right now, but you're going to have others, or you may have one product, but you regularly pair with a joint venture partner who's got all sorts of other stuff that's really going to help them. So you want to build that relationship so people trust you and go, yes, this person, I bought from this person, or I'm going to buy from this person. I trust them. I'm going to hand over my credit card now for whatever it is that they do. I have numerous people who I'm on their email list where I've bought maybe one thing from them, but they keep sending out all this other stuff for joint venture, products. I'm like, oh, that's really interesting. And yes, that goes really well with the thing that I bought from them. Yeah. So, an email list is not a one and done thing. An email list is just like any friendship. It's an ongoing relationship.
Right.
And the whole point is to show that, whether you are showing people how to use whatever it is you're selling, or you're showing them why it is that, they should be buying it, you're building trust. And we all buy from people we know, like, and trust, right?
Absolutely.
I mean, I was right before this meeting, I was out front talking to one of my neighbors, and I need to get my trees trimmed. So he's like, oh yeah, I've got a guy coming in who's gonna give me an estimate. I'm like, okay, sure. I'll get an estimate from him. My next door neighbor also happens to be an arborist. So I'm also going to get an estimate from him because I know, like, and trust him.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
These are both situations where someone I know is or is literally the person I'm talking to, or is someone who recommended this person to me. So that's how we really function. We function on relationships.
Mm-hmm.
So the more that you can build up that relationship, the better off you are.
Yeah.
Now, you actually want to talk about how to get people to join, which is fair because you got to get people to join your email list before you can
Right.
build that relationship. So, and we have, of course, talked about the idea of the lead magnet.
Mm-hmm.
And I know a lot of people get stuck on, well, what am I supposed to give them? You
Mm-hmm.
know, what can I offer? And I see I have two camps. It's the I just have no idea. Like I wouldn't even know what to do. And the, oh, well, why would they want that camp? You know, it's like,
Mm.
if you the way my friend of mine, a very talented email marketer, explained it by the name of Chris Davis. He's like an automation expert.
Mm-hmm.
And he explained it as it's like you have a loaf of bread, right? And your product is the loaf of bread. And you want to take the best slice right from the middle, right after it's come out of the oven. You want to slather a little butter on it, and you want to give them that.
Mm-hmm.
So they go, oh, this is really good bread. How do I get more?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right? Another easy comparison is Pat Flynn, who calls it what he calls the small, quick win. You want to take something that's like a small portion of
What
the
you do.
problem that the person is
Mm-hmm.
trying to solve and help them solve that. But then your product or service helps them solve the rest of the problem. So think about that little piece that is going to give them something. It's going to give them something they can use that is helpful to them, but doesn't totally, give away your entire product. So what
So,
is that thing?
so question then,
Hmm?
how many lead magnets do you think you should have available?
So what I always recommend is have one primary lead magnet,
Mm-hmm.
right? So my primary lead magnet is, as examples, the biggest problem I hear from business owners is I never know what to write.
Mm-hmm.
That's like the constant complaint. Okay, I can solve that. Here is a list of 30 subject lines to keep your subscribers opening and reading every email. That is literally the title of my lead magnet. And that's what it is. It's 30 subject
Mm-hmm.
lines and writing prompts that you can reuse over and over and over again. So you have some writing stimulus, something
Yes.
to get you started, because that's what most people have a problem with,
Yeah.
just getting started.
Mm-hmm.
So that's my standard lead magnet. However, I also recommend something called a content upgrade. This is something you add to a blog post or an article, right? That is specific to that particular blog post. For example, so if I have a blog post that is like, the top 7 idea stimulators for your emails,
Mm-hmm.
I would actually have a that list, just a very quick list, 1, maybe 2 pages, as a download PDF that people can just click on a button, give me their email address, and download.
Yeah.
But it's only specific to that particular blog post. That's where it
Mm-hmm.
lives. And you could do that to any number of blog posts.
Right.
You can also add in your lead magnet on the end of a blog post.
Mm-hmm.
Another thing a lot of people do is a quiz.
Yeah.
There are all sorts of different lead magnets that you can use. I probably have, if I total them all, I probably have 30. But my
Mm-hmm.
primary lead magnet is that list of 30 subject lines, because that's what most people need.
Exactly.
And that's probably what people opt into the most. So start with one. Trust me, you'll find plenty of opportunities to create more.
I know that's like my go-to is one of the services I offer is to give you a free checkup of your setup to be more engaging online. And so I give them a checklist of 5 things that they should always just look at before they start their podcast, their meeting, whatever it is. Because as you said, this is, as I found after 500 interviews and non-work related meetings where people come on and it's like they're in the dark or I can't hear them. And I thought, this is where they need the most help. If you can get at least that, then people can look into your eyes and start to learn, know, like, and trust you.
Oh my goodness, yes.
But
Yeah,
anyway, so definitely a good advice there. So you talked about the nurture emails and there are a lot of people that utilize virtual assistants to do this, you know, especially if you're a solopreneur. But how regularly should you send those emails?
So personally, I recommend at least once a week. It's, you know, it's that, I like to describe it as until you become the thing on fire on someone's desk, you kind of have to throw a little bit of kindling on that fire to keep it going, right? So, and you know, we're all busy business owners, right? How many things show up in your inbox every day that you actually have to deal with? So
you have to weed through all the 500 other things you do.
Oh my goodness, right? So you want to be, you want your emails to be that thing in someone's inbox that someone looks forward to reading.
Yeah.
You know, and so what you're really sending is a, hey, I'm still here. And this is why you want to read this.
Yeah.
So for myself, I actually send emails twice a week. I have one on Tuesdays that always just promotes a blog post because, you know, it's a short email, sends people to a blog post that gives them a bunch of information. And then on Thursdays, I write an email that is specifically for my email list. And it is essentially just advice on email marketing. I mean, ultimately, it's all advice on email marketing, but it's specific. It's, you know, it's like I'll talk about a thing in a blog post, but I'll go more in depth on Thursdays, right? So you're getting a little extra something for being on my email list. And I have people who have told me, yeah, I have a folder on my computer where I keep your emails because maybe I can't get them to them all right away, but I really do want to read them.
Right.
You know, so, and they like, they'll like keep them to the end of the week or the end of the month, and they'll just sit down and read them all. And it's like, how gratifying is that, that I am the person who actually, they want to save my emails as opposed to delete them.
That's good.
You know, that is a wonderful position to be in. And yes, they do actually buy from me. These are my customers. So, you know, that is the type of thing that you want to be sending. Now, obviously, you're going to send sales emails as well. So, you know, like I send that, you know, I always put a call to action in every email. In the blog post, it's obviously go read the blog post. In the Thursday emails, it's usually to a product or service. You know, it's like, hey, this is available. And then, you know, maybe once a month, once every other month, I do a big, you know, flash sale or something at the end of the month or sometime during the month.
Right.
Until I have a big product rolling out. And then I let people know that, yes, there's a huge product, you know, rollout happening. And so obviously there's balance in there for everything that you're sending. But in terms of the nurture emails, you just want to make sure that you stay top of mind.
Right.
You just want, and that gives you then the ability to ramp up that that announcement about the fact that you've got a new course coming out, or you've got, you know, a new product or service that you're really excited about, because then you've already got people paying attention to you.
Yeah.
You've already got people engaged, and you're not suddenly, you know, trying to like show up at the inbox going over here, pay attention. They're already trained to open your emails.
Yeah.
So you can have them open the email and you can go, hey, I'm so excited. This new thing is happening. If you want to get in on it, sign up on the waiting list.
Yeah.
Or I'm going to be making a big announcement on Tuesday next week. Make sure you open that email. You know, so that really just helps you get what you want out of this relationship, which is, you know, people buying your products and services. And it helps the people who are reading your emails get what they want, which is the solution to their problem.
Yeah.
Right? Because ultimately, as much as, yes, we need to earn money for what we're doing, we're all in this to serve in some way. We're all here to help people solve a problem. And I think that the thing that a lot of business owners forget is the person on the other end of this transaction, whatever that transaction is, doesn't care how cool your thing is. all they care is that that thing is going to help them solve their problem and reach their goals. That's what they're in this for. So if you can keep that in mind when you're writing your emails, when you're creating that product or service, when you're talking about it in podcasts or online or whatever it is, how is my object, my thing that I am selling, going to help someone else solve their problem? One of my mentors likes to say, don't fall in love with your product. Fall in love with the problem your product solves.
Yeah. Yeah, because
So
when you do that, then it allows you to be more innovative and creative and think of what else can I do to help them solve that problem.
exactly. And it makes it really easy to write your emails, because then you can think about all those things that your product does to help them solve their problem.
Yeah.
And you write about that.
So we're running low on time. I wanted to just talk for the last couple of minutes about, we talked about email lists, and so some folks have been in business only a year or less, and some people have been in for 5 years, and some people have been in for 30 years. And so you have a hot list, and you have a warm list, and you have a cold list, and you have archived list. How long should you keep actively marketing, if you will, to or nurturing the email list?
As long as they keep opening your emails.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if someone has been on your list for 10 years and they're still opening your emails,
Yeah.
keep sending them emails. There have been people on my email list who have been on there for 10 years, who've only bought recently because they're just ready now.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know,
That's what I was saying. That's what I was thinking, if it takes you 7 times to remind somebody or to connect with somebody, if you're quick to say, well, that person hasn't bought, I'm just going to get them off my list.
yes.
It could be that the problem that you solve isn't one that right then is their problem, but it
Right.
could be in 10 years from now. It could be 5 years from now. It could be tomorrow.
Now, I want to take a moment to go on a sort of a wonky subject here, which is cleaning
Walk away.
clean your email list. Those people who don't open your emails, at some point, you have to just, be very sad and release them. Before you do that, I do recommend doing what's called a re-engagement sequence, which is, hey, are you still alive? Are you okay? You haven't opened my email in a while. And sometimes I cannot promise you that every single person will re-engage, but sometimes people do. And then you have them back on your email list. But at some point, you then put those people into an archive, and maybe you take that list and you upload it to Facebook, and you target those people with Facebook ads or Google ads or whatever, ads you want to do that with. Or maybe, you keep that list and you email them once a year and say, hey, we're still out here. I've seen people do all sorts of different things like that. But the point is, you want to keep your main list, the email list that you send regularly, as clean as possible, because especially because recently the ISPs have gotten really diligent about their spam filters. You want your list to be as clean as possible, because then people are opening the lists, your emails, which means the ISPs all go, oh, people want to hear from them. Okay, I'm going to let Tanya's emails through to Vicky, because Vicky's opened her emails. So Vicky actually wants to hear from her. Whereas these people over here, Vicky hasn't opened their emails in ages. We're just going to put those in the spam filter, which means once that happens to you a few times, your emails end up in the spam filters everywhere.
Yeah.
Sort of like, like they just get stickier and stickier and stickier until eventually you can't even email your mother. And I'm completely serious. I've met people who've been in this situation where they're like, my emails to my mom end up in my spam filter if I send them from this email address. It's like, you need to clean your email list.
Yeah.
And that's a lot of work to fix.
Yeah.
So the cleaner you can keep your list, the better. Okay, there is my cleanliness speech for the day.
It's a good message. Good message. All right. It's time now for us to move on to getting you the contact information for Tanya. So if you are just listening, you know, you need to run right now, go get a paper and pencil, because I am going to read for you the website and social media information. If you're watching, yay you can go ahead and do a screenshot. Of course, all this information will be on my findyourleadershipconfidence.com website, as well as my Vicki Nethling YouTube channel. So please subscribe. But if you're watching, here we go. So the website for Tanya is TanyaBrodyCopywriter.com. And Facebook is Tanya Brody Copywriter. And LinkedIn is Tanya Brody. And Instagram is TB Copywriter 42. That's TB Copywriter 42. But I'm sure if you just search Tanya Brody, you will find that. I'm going to turn it over to Tanya to really spend a little bit of time telling you about those 30 subject lines, email lead magnet she has, as well as what she can find whenever you go to her website, some resources she has, areas that she'd like you to kind of focus on, and those places on social media that she spends the most time that you can be able to link right up with her and DM her. So Tanya, it's all yours.
Well, thank you very much. So when you come to my website, if you don't just go to the bit.ly link that you see right here on the page, you'll actually see a pop-up for my lead magnet right there on the homepage. And I recommend that you get it, because it's going to give you a really good example of a lead magnet, and you'll have a bunch of emails that you can now write, because it just makes your life easier. Yeah. But in terms of, you know, we want to talk about how to get people onto your list. Having a pop-up that is on your website is a really good way to do that, because it lets people know that there's a thing that they can get right away that will help them. In terms of my actual website, go check out the blog posts, right? There are a whole bunch of blog posts. You can see examples of the content upgrades that I talked about. So you can go, oh yeah, I could do that with this blog post over here. Mm-hmm. And then obviously, I would like you to opt into my email list, because then you can find out more about email marketing and how I can help you write better emails. But also you'll get a chance to see my email welcome sequence, which is an automated sequence that goes out as soon as you sign up, and it introduces you to me and my business, which is something that you should have for your business. Mm-hmm. So basically you can just go to my website, check out everything is there. And then once you start getting the emails, you're like, oh, that's what she was talking about. And obviously you'll figure out how to do that, because I'll have a bunch of blog posts that talk to you about doing it. And of course, a bunch of courses that will teach you to do it. So I hope you will come over to the website, check it out. And I hope to see your name on my email list very soon.
Awesome. Well, it's been just so great chatting with you. I love all the things you shared. You gave great advice. So engaging. Loved having you. And I see your kitty cat. There you go. What's the name of the kitty cat?
This is Ira-san.
Ira-san. Oh my goodness.
Yes.
So beautiful. Well, as always, thank you so much for being such a tremendous guest. And I remind everyone that life is a journey, and it's up to you to enjoy the ride. This is Vicki Nethling signing off.
Thank you for tuning into the Find Your Leadership Confidence podcast with Vicki Nethling, where we share impactful lessons that help you grow as an individual, grow your confidence, and find the positive and good within you so you powerfully and authentically become the best version of yourself. Remember to visit our website at www.findyourleadershipconfidence.com and enjoy even more great episodes like this one. Again, while you're here, subscribe to us via your favorite network. We look forward to seeing you next time on the Find Your Leadership Confidence podcast.